So we're here today with the fabulous, fabulous Sam Fine, who needs no introduction at all. If you don't know Sam Fine, you don't know makeup, so that's all I have to say about that. So again, like I explained to you, I'm gonna do a little quirkiness because I am quirky. I'm different, like to, be different. Awesome.
Don't ask me when did I get started.
We're not going to ask you that.
How long I've been doing makeup.
Because you can Google that, you know.
Yes.
So my first question is, I'm a huge fan of Marvel Comics. I love comic books. I'm an illustrator. I love comics. So if you were a superhero, what superpowers would you love to have?
I thought about this actually. So we're on the same wavelength. Probably to be invisible. You know, and I feel somewhat invisible when I'm behind the scenes. You know, when you work with celebrity, you're very close to them. So you get a chance to see so much of the goings on. So in a way, I feel like I have that power. However, being truly invisible, I don't know. Then you hear the stuff people saying about you. Then you know, it's not just like seeing somebody undressed. It's like you I think you just learn and know too much. But I think to be invisible would be great. I don't know, because you could really hang out and enjoy things, you know, in a really kind of chill, kind of private way. And that's how I feel I am as a makeup artist behind the scenes.
Do you find it's hard to kind of just chill out and kind of just be Sam on an everyday basis?
No, I mean, because when you're at work, I'm working for celebrities, so it's all about them. So, you know, I often feel like I'm not in center stage. I'm not doing the makeup show. I'm not doing a presentation. I'm not dressed up. I don't need to shave. Sure. So y'all know when you see those pictures of me with the gray beard, I'm at work. This is me getting dressed up for everybody. But no, I mean, it's easy to chill. But I mean, if you're invisible, you ain't gonna see nobody you know. You ain't gotta worry about how you dress. You ain't gonna put no clothes on. So that would be probably cool.
Cool. Now, speaking of dress, you're looking extra fabulous, dapper today. What are we wearing? Because I'm a big label whore.
I was tweeting this morning,
and I apologize. I'm off my tweet game this morning.
Really? Oh, please.
So I wasn't able to kind of catch up. But
since 6.
No.
and then just trying to, you know, put everything together. And I'm wearing a suit from Tom Ford.
I'm about to drop my camera.
The shirt was going to be Tom Ford, but then I kept thinking I'm going to be hugging a lot of people.
True.
So it's kind of Tom Ford because it's Gucci from when he was at Gucci.
Same difference.
And YSL boots, which are actually when Tom Ford was at YSL. So it's more of a Tom Ford feeling.
And the statement bag over here?
Well, that's my makeup bag.
It's statement bag to me because that's what I would do with it.
You know, everybody always says
that's a very fancy kit.
You carry your makeup in, and I travel a lot, so I carry my makeup bag in my Prada leather bag.
Love it, love it, love it. Now I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Okay. They're fill in the blank questions.
Okay.
So I am at my best when I am
working out.
Working really?
When I guess
it's that extra.
I was a thick
the
kid,
endorphins that kind of release.
I was husky, and so you know I haven't been a bad eater, but within the past 10 years, being around celebrities, being around models, you really learn. You know, it's really not just how you look; it's how you feel.
Right.
So when I'm at my best, when I'm lean, when I've worked out, when I really feel like the machine is running.
Cool. Now, one thing you know for sure is.
One thing I know for sure.
That you could put 100% in.
Is that I'm a servant, and no matter what I do, I'll always be a servant because I will always be serving someone. Whether I'm serving Vanessa Williams, Iman, and Tyra, or if I'm here serving the people who come and paid and traveled to see me today at the makeup show, I'm still a servant. So that is one thing I truly know for sure.
Awesome. And last fill in the blank, if you weren't doing makeup, what would you be doing?
Oh, I'd be an art teacher, but in many ways I am. I'm here to educate. Being an art teacher was kind of my default. Like if I fell on my ass when I moved to New York, I could always, I came here when I was 19, so I had plenty enough time to go to school, go back to school and become an art teacher. So actually I still got my dream.
Both in and in. Okay, so my very last question, no, I have one more question.
Cool.
What are some of the, as me as an African American woman, I have a really hard time kind of finding workable foundations, meaning that something that I can just kind of go, I'm not the beat the face down kind of girl.
But your skin looks beautiful today.
I won't tell you, I don't wash my face.
That's our secret, y'all ain't.
What are some of the foundations that you use often? Like, for me, I'll change my question. What would you recommend for my face?
But see, I don't switch up because of, I mean, I can recommend different products depending on your specific needs.
Okay.
However, I mean, you know, I have on makeup now. I know there are going to be a lot of pictures. I'm going to be on camera. I have on stick foundation in certain areas where I need more coverage. And then I have on liquid foundation in other areas where I don't require as much coverage.
Okay.
So I think it's really about what you feel comfortable with, not always like, you know, I mean, I think everyone knows that I love Black Opal stick foundations, and I love Iman stick foundations, and Bobbi Brown stick foundations, and Dermablend, and I mean, and I'm not afraid to use that, and we'll definitely see more of that in my presentation. But I think the most important part is finding something you feel comfortable with, and marrying those things together. What do you have on now?
Now I have a MAC Mineralizer.
Okay.
Like deep. It's for me. It's kind of easier.
The tube.
No, it's actually just a little compact, and it's really light.
It's powder, or is
Yeah.
it? Oh, it's powder. It's a powder. It's a dual finish.
I'm not the makeup guru.
It's kind of a dual finish powder. Oh, okay, so yeah, this is powder.
Yeah.
You know, that gives you a little bit more coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my daily, but
I mean, this is great, but what do you do when you want a little bit more coverage?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
So, if that's the one thing you're using, think about the one thing you aren't using. You've got powder. Powder's giving you coverage. It's making you appear more matte, which makes skin appear more consistent in color and texture.
Okay.
So, if you were to add to that, it would be something to add more coverage, to highlight underneath the eyes.
Okay.
It would be bronzer, possibly, to add luminosity and shimmer. So those are kind of a few things. I think that a lot of women of color are scared of using foundation because they feel like it's just going to be this blanket effect. And you're using powder now, and you have gorgeous skin. But imagine if you went in and highlighted underneath your eyes with one shade lighter of a concealer, something a little bit more malleable, something a little bit more creamy, that you could really control and be like, wow, okay, that brightens my eyes long before I put on my eyeliner and my mascara.
Right.
So I think those are the things that I always talk to women about, is taking, you know, inventory of the products they already have and thinking, I've been hearing about this and this. Those are the two things that I'm going to buy and tackle. So for you, I would say a concealer. It could just be a foundation, one shade lighter to use underneath the eyes when you want a little bit of extra coverage, and a bronzer to add luminosity. Also, it can take the place of blush.
The blush, okay. Gotcha. Now, last question again. You know, I'm on Twitter all day, every day, constantly, 2 o'clock in the morning, still tweeting.
Me too.
I saw a tweet maybe a week or so ago when you were referencing how, like, in advertisements, society automatically assumes that if it's a black model, that's a black product. Do you think that that's, I don't know, that...
I love you ending with a good political question. This is not about beauty.
It's something that's true to my heart, because as an African-American woman, you know, I can go in the store and I love fashion pictures everywhere. White, black, Asian, whatever. But your tweet was true. You know, we automatically assume that just because it is an African-American woman, that's an African-American product. Do you think that that will change, or do you think that as an African-American community we can kind of come, like, how do we change that as far as, you know, is it like maybe more black advertisers? Like, how is there a solution, do you think?
There are companies that do not show, well, let me first say, actually, this whole Twitter conversation began with someone asking me, I'm not a woman of color, will I still learn something from your DVD? And I didn't take offense to it, but I have to say, because y'all know,
I think I would have got offended.
You have to have thick skin
but
on Twitter.
You are correct. You are correct.
However, it didn't stop me. I addressed her and said, of course you will, because the basics don't change.
Right.
However, it's very interesting that you don't see a white woman approaching fashion fair. You won't see a white woman approaching black up. Makeup's an emotional purchase. You have to realize that as African Americans, we are a minority, and we are so knowledgeable about Caucasian culture. We have to be, because it's in slang. I'm saying this in slang. It's their world. We're just living in it. and I say that, and I know
Slang, but very true.
Well, someone could run with that and take it very, very personally.
Right.
But the fact is, when you have cosmetic lines that are, there are many cosmetic lines that don't address women of color at all.
Right.
So what does that say? But yet we still spend our money there. We buy their lip gloss, we buy their color items. We're a community who's always looking, we're buying fashions that they don't use models on the runway. And I understand because we all, myself included, want to buy into the American dream. However, it's very interesting, having dedicated my career to beautifying women of color, having released a book, when Bobby Brown and Kevin Aquan had their books out on the market, I said, well, wow, I'm working with Iman, I'm working with Tyra, I'm working with Naomi, I'm working with Vanessa Williams, I'm working with Patti LaBelle. Why not do a book as well to show the range of beauty and age and hair textures that we love? So I've always kind of, taken on that role. So I think of it as more a political statement when someone says to me, can I learn something from you? We don't go to a counter and ask, why isn't there a black model representing this brand, or what do you have for me? We go, we figure it out, find what works for us. We are always doing that. And I think that's why African Americans really are originals. From fashion to beauty to hair, we're making it work. And from that Twitter session, really, I hope it let people know that whether I'm doing, Alec Weck, the basics don't change, whether I'm doing Nicole Kidman or Alec Weck. Highlighting, contour, placement is placement. Color is what changes. Formulations change. Sensitivity to understanding hyperpigmentation and scarring and discoloration are very key issues for women of color. So of course I highlight those things. But there are a lot of Caucasian consumers who are dealing with rosacea, who are dealing with broken capillaries, who are dealing with the same coverage needs. Call it what you will, it's all the same.
Right. Well, Sam, it was an absolute, when I tell you an absolute pleasure, I'm about to cry. I'm gonna it was so nice talking to you. I really do appreciate it.
Same, and thank you for bringing some
No
wonderful
problem.
questions to light.